No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Good morning, Bronco Nation. Happy Friday to you here at Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. And we got a lot of change going on here at BNN and around. And, of course, I'm talking about the new backdrop behind me. Finally got Jackson's and Taco Bell added to the backdrop here. So all of our sponsors, I think our main 6 sponsors are all represented right here in the picture now finally. So we got Jackson's, Taco Bell, Lithia, ICCU, Taco Bell, RowPaint.com, blue and orange store. So, yeah, but excited to have today's show. We're going to talk about the big story that everybody is talking about, Boise State's offense and how it gets going here in 2025. We're going to do that with Jay Tust. It was weird for me, Jay, to type this into the YouTube chat, but I did not say KTVB's Jay Tust. I said Boise State's Jay Tust joins us today. Congratulations. A ton of nice comments coming in on the chat, and really cool day yesterday. And I know after all of doing you did yesterday, I know all you want to do today is keep talking about it. Jay, congratulations, man, and pretty fired up for you.
I appreciate it, bud. And I do. I really appreciate your support, your friendship. And yeah, jokingly last night as we were texting, doing that 11 or 12:30 a.m. show prep, just excited to talk about football. Yeah, an emotional day. Announced that I was leaving KTVB and heading over to a place that we know very well, BJ, Boise State. So, I know that you know this as well as anybody, but Boise's an awesome city. It has awesome people, and it just kind of ropes you in. And I don't want to leave it, but there's times where you just feel like you need to push yourself, which I also know that you know. And this is an opportunity that I couldn't say no to at this point in time. So, yeah, gonna try to do something new, get a little uncomfortable, and probably only a little, because I'm still covering the team that I covered 80% of my job even at KTVB, but excited about the future.
Well, we will talk about Boise State's offense, but I do have some questions about this. First and foremost, Jay, When is the Twitter handle changing?
Yeah, I know. Those are things that I gotta dive into, and
I almost didn't want to use your handle this morning because I'm like, I might by noon, it might already have a new name.
somebody made that joke yesterday too. Now that all the decisions and everything are in the rearview mirror, and all the goodbye speeches have been not only scripted but delivered, yeah, I'll start taking care of that. But
Yeah, you don't want to, 2 minutes. It's like some of these coaches or whatever. They've already got the new header. Come on now, give it a day or two. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's just wild to me because, like, in all honesty, I didn't even think about that necessarily yesterday, and so to see how some of that stuff does change so quickly is pretty funny for some of those guys. But yeah, yesterday was wild, grateful, and yeah, ready for what's next.
Now,
Yeah.
I have to bring this up here because there was we were joking about what the name of your Twitter handle is going to be, and there is a guy out there that already has at BSU Sports Guy, and he must, I don't know if he bought that out early, if he was smart or what, but at BSU Sports Guy right there.
Yep.
In the screen, and he said, DM me if you want to consider taking my username, and then I wrote back, charge him for it. We saw what Genty gave.
Yeah.
Number 2, Pony Up Jay. So have any negotiations begun between you and this BSU Sports Guy over his Twitter account?
No, not yet. Not yet. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So we'll see. I might just take a page out of your playbook, but yeah.
Well, you've changed outlets, and some folks still don't know the proper name here. Maybe it's fitting. J Trust, according to Logan Byler.
There it is.
And then
there it is.
He does catch himself there and say
All
tough.
good.
Boise, congrats, Jay. You've done a terrific job covering BSU athletics. But as a kid, you went to high school in the Treasure Valley. Appreciate your coverage of high school athletics. I know you are excited. Well, I jokingly say this. I know you're excited, obviously, to not be, on Friday nights out at 10 different high school games. There are some, advantages to the new schedule. But I know in a way you were obviously connected to the community and much more than just Boise State. So I do imagine, while, yes, you won't be having to travel around for 10 hours and go to 14 state basketball games or state baseball games or whatever in a day, I'm sure that part of it you will miss, not having the connection with the non-Boise State athletes in town. Yeah,
and I know, I mean, there's no way that I'm not gonna I mean, there's no way that I won't be paying attention to it. It would literally be impossible. So I'll miss the energy of Friday Night Lights. I'll miss the chaos of state tournament weekend, whether it be boys basketball, girls basketball, the spring sports. Last year I hit 37 different events in a weekend, between baseball and track and lacrosse and whatever the heck was going on. So yeah, just it's been an awesome ride, but I believe it was Joe Buck talking about the World Series, right? Where is he still calling the World Series?
No,
yeah.
Monday Night Football, he's done.
Yeah. And so I think that one thing I remember him saying is that he got the opportunity to do it for such a long time. And I thought it was really cool that he was just like, you know what, it's somebody else's turn. And it's somebody else's turn to experience the magic.
Good luck to whoever that next person is, because that's going to be a tough. You never want to be the guy that replaces the guy. You want to replace the guy that replaces the guy. And so, good luck to whoever KTVB brings in. I know they got good people running things over there. They'll find somebody great. But I mean, 14 years and all the awards and things that you won, that's going to be certainly tough to top. The congratulations continue to come in. This is a J Tust tribute show this morning here.
No, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that.
Big J, Robbie Robinson agreed. Happy Friday. Congratulations. Big news for Jay. Candid Trader says, I'm excited for this all access thing coming. I called this a while back and suggested it. Congrats, Jay. Long time coming. Congrats. Let's see what else here. So Surf City Bill does say this is a stepping stone. You'll be running the Pac-12 networks in a few years.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, as long as you can do that from Boise.
Yeah, as long as you can do it from Boise, yeah, maybe. But we'll see.
I know one of the initial questions was, okay, are you going to be able to keep doing this? And we should say, for the time being, yes. We'll see how it goes. I know you're going to have duties and meetings and things, but we're hoping that we can keep that going, just get a different perspective and allow you to continue to speak directly to Bronco Nation on our platform, but which you'll be doing on your platform. So we'll see how the schedules align moving forward and what you have going on with some of your stuff. But the hope and the goal is that you can continue to, at least once a week. If we need to dial it back, maybe we can, but at least in some capacity, have you continue to do this. And I will just say publicly, you told me that you did bring this up with Boise State and that, you said you didn't want to leave me hanging. And Boise State also said, well, we wouldn't want you to do that either. So I just say thank you for that. And thank you to Boise State for also saying that. And so we'll see what happens moving forward. But as of now, the hope is you can continue doing this in some capacity.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that just to understand is, yeah, Boise State is launching something because they want to tell their own story, but this is, and it's something that I got to get used to even on my end here, BJ. But the more people we got talking about Boise State athletics, the absolute better. We need people out there telling the stories of these athletes, these coaches, heck, even the people that are behind the scenes. And yes, I'm going to help.
9 a.m. on Monday.
What's that?
The Jay's Sports Bar starts at 9 a.m. on Monday.
It doesn't. No, the bar doesn't open that early. You know that. So,
what is? Yeah, I know you are. Well, I appreciate you saying that. And yeah, like I said, people are asking if you're one of the other bigger questions. Are you guys going to be competitors? Not. I don't even necessarily know if we even were to begin with. And that's not saying that we just TV and they're just different mediums. But no, you're. I mean, certainly now, yeah, we probably won't see as many tweets from you at midnight about new recruits coming in or players getting arrested. I mean, your goals, your obviously job is changing a little bit here. You'll be obviously promoting and working more on the Boise State side of things moving forward here. But what is I know it's still being developed and all this, but the studio concept, like what is actually the vision? What are you hoping to do here? What is Boise State hoping to do? What is Bronco Studios? What is host or what I forget what they call you, director of hosts of live and digital shows all entail?
Yeah, so we're building the plane as we fly it, BJ, and I think that those are the discussions that we'll have over these next few weeks. Fall camp is about 6-7 weeks away, so we have a little bit of runway here to figure out how we want to craft this and shape this to serve Bronco Nation and really just college football fans in general, because Bronco Nation isn't just confined to the state of Idaho. So we're thinking about putting together shows, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jeremiah Dickey ends up with a show and highlighting these athletes the best way that we deem possible. So there's a press release yesterday that had some details, but more than anything, that's just kind of a compass of how we're going to direct this thing. But it's far from a set plan at this point. But I just know that people are excited, and I'm excited. And for a guy that hasn't experienced too much change in the last 14 years, at least professionally, this will get me out of my comfort zone a little bit and push me, and we'll see.
I mean, the live shows and all that'll be great, but I think that one area that I think you excel in is some of those the preseason specials and some of that stuff that you just put hours and hours of work into for an hour broadcast or half the preseason special, the blueprint, all that kind of stuff. And now I even remember you saying last fall at one point, kind of facetiously, like, man, I wish I had that access, because like what kind of stuff could you do? And so I think that you having a full week or whatever to put some more of those kind of shows together, and the preseason specials, the blueprint, those kind of specials. Now probably do one of those just for basketball, one of those just for volleyball or soccer, or put them all together, one with weekly segments on all of them, and not have to worry about also leaving your editing chair to go cover the Boise High soccer game tonight or things like that. I mean, I do think that that kind of stuff will be pretty cool to kind of see the stuff you can come up with.
Yeah, and only time will tell. And kind of like you, at times we think we're signing up for something different than we end up getting, because our work ethic will drive us further down a road than we ever expected, right? But I am just kind of hoping that it will free me up even a little bit. And for example, when we just talk about Friday Night Football, where we drive around the Treasure Valley, we put together highlights and things like that. I spent a lot of my time during the week also preparing to host, but edit, produce, script the Bronco Roundup Game Day show for Saturday. And so when I'm in town, so when I'm on the road, I can't host it. But when I'm in town, I have to do Friday Night Football. And so, that takes a good 5-6 hours out of my Friday, if not more, before the bigger what is the bigger day of the week for us, which is Bronco game days. And so to have a little bit of that time back, and whether it be maybe spending a little bit with my family or just having more time to really be concentrated on some passion projects,
No,
I'm eager to see how it turns out.
Camille and the kiddos deserve first thing, but I think me and Johnny and some of us are like, wow, we might actually get a yes response when we ask to watch.
I know.
Once in a while or something. It may be a little.
Yeah.
We're hoping to get a little more time with Jay Tust. Sorry, Camille, you can have 80% of the time, but we'd like 5 or 10% maybe.
I will say it will be really, really interesting because I got to say my bosses have been great with providing me some autonomy over these last couple of years with my family growing and really being able to dictate my own schedule. But there are times where the news at 10 is at 10, and it's something that is unavoidable. Praising them in their efforts to do their best to keep my family and myself and our best interests at heart. Moving forward, it is going to be more of a 9 to 5, and with the exception of Boise State football games and men's basketball games, obviously Boise State excels across the board athletically, so there will be things that pop up. But instead of being gone 200 plus nights a year until 11 p.m., it'll be more like 30 or 40 probably, or whatever. So with my daughter starting, she'd be full-time kiddo at school next year. There are times during the week where I probably wouldn't have seen her very much. So now I'll make sure that most nights I get to come home and eat dinner with them and put them to bed.
If I ever wanted this much engagement on our chat, we should have just done something like that. Had you do something like this a long time ago. This is records here on the chat. A couple important questions coming in here. Dayton wants to know, so does Jay get to fly on the chartered flight with the team now?
I'm sure that will be an option at times, but I will also add that those chartered flights are usually packed to the brim. So when convenient for everyone, I'm sure there's a chance, but I don't know if that's just going to be the regular standard.
Having Jay Tusk fly Southwest with us, I guarantee you they'll find you a spot on the charter
You
here.
never know, BJ. You never know, buddy.
Either way, I won't probably be watching you have to edit stuff for that night's Sundays. If it's a Sunday morning flying back from Air Force, I ain't going to see you already hours of tape for Sunday night show.
Yeah, I know. I've worked weekends for the last 14 years. It's going to be weird having Sundays off. There are times where we're all working Saturdays because of a game or something like that. But, I know that you guys are still paying attention to stuff and, kind of doing things on Sundays, but to not have to spend all of Sunday in the office after a busy Bronco Roundup game day, I think that'll be a little recharging, a little refreshing. It's going to get, I will say this though, my schedule, also having Mondays and Tuesdays off, it kind of allowed me to do my little bit of work and prepare for the week ahead at home. And so that'll take a little bit of getting used to, because those will be more my regular shift days as a Monday to Friday shift.
I know part of your negotiations were about the weight room and whether or not you were going to, most employees at the university have to use the one in the varsity center there. There was a clause I saw that allows you to use the football facilities because of the amount of weight that you need. And Boise is asking, has anyone answered the most important question yet? Is Jay competing in media day? I think that, thankfully for us, makes you ineligible, I believe. Now you'll be out there with the camera, probably filming us idiots out there.
I don't know. I might have to petition to jump in that thing. We'll see. Yeah.
I don't know. I would now question that. We'll see. I don't know if we can. I don't know where the line is, but I'm not going to shoot a guy that's wearing a Boise State workout shirt out there. This is independent media out here. Come on.
Okay. All right. All right.
Mind it. Actually, you know what? If you're willing to do the bench in front of the camera, I'm willing to watch it. I think.
All right.
We did just get confirmation from your new boss. He will be compete. You've been assigned. You will be competing in Media Pro Day. So we can break the news right now. Jay Tust will be competing in Media Pro Day. So
That's awesome.
chance. There is a little thing at the bottom that said lunch and awards. And I haven't won too many awards in my athletic career. I was thinking I had a shot once I heard Jay was out, but I guess my chance at any kind of award just went out the window. Jay Tust will be his first breaking news announcement for Boise State is he will be competing in Media Pro Day. So that
perfect
for the rest of us, but we'll be enjoying it.
That's perfect. All right. Well, there we have it then. I get to go. I get to compete.
You give up your AP vote for basketball though, and
yeah.
Someone just asked if you were the football voter. No, you did basketball. I did basketball for 7 years, I think, and then when I left the paper, I gave it over to you. They have some rules where you got to be a AP subscriber, have something to do with that, and I think that's something to do with it. So we'll find out who they add. There's not a lot of, I guess, eligible people now in Idaho to do it, but there will be somebody taking you over. But that's one thing that also on a Sunday night, taking 2 hours of your time to see who won Cincinnati or Rhode Island and whether or not one of them should be in the top 25. I'm sure you're devastated to not be doing that.
Yeah, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. And it felt like you maybe had a little bit of an impact at times, especially it wasn't necessarily the top teams in that poll, but I would almost always gravitate right towards the bottom because those are the toughest decisions. And you're like, gosh, could I have been a swing vote here or there? Or was I even close? Should Creighton have even received a vote and I got them ranked or vice versa, whatever it is.
I want to be the only giving somebody a vote. I know how that went.
Yeah. So I'll miss it, but you are right. Like that's something that you can only do once the conclusion of all the games happen, which is usually Sunday evening. And so it was always after Sunday Sports Extra and my News at 10 hit that I'd be sitting at my desk trying to crank out my AP ballot, trying to make sure I had it right. And then every now and then you get that text message in the morning saying, we didn't get it. And you're like, oh man, did I forget to hit submit and wake up? And
or Arizona State, or
what was that?
If you click like Arizona instead of Arizona State,
yeah,
that would happen occasionally to me.
I don't think I made any too drastic errors, during my time there. I think I can't remember what it was. There was one, but it wasn't super egregious, but I do remember being like, oh, like I think somebody might have lost and I forgot to drop them and I probably should have dropped like 5 spots or whatever. And so, yeah.
A ton of the congratulations still coming in. Bill says, congrats, Jay. You do great work. Wish you were in Minnesota. Boise has a good one. Go, Jay. Great move for you and Boise State Athletics. What tell us from the Boise State side of this, because your boss is watching apparently. So just tell us in terms of your conversations with them. And we even saw in the spring game, we did the press conference there in the empty Bronco shop, and we're told that was going to kind of turn into some sort of media area. And so it sounds like they're building out some sort of studio, and just tell us kind of what Bronco Studios entails, not necessarily just your job.
Yeah. So what it looks like on day one will be different, from day 366 or whatever down the road, I'm guessing. We'll have a temporary shop set up in that old Bronco shop building. There are going to be some offices and stuff in there with some video people and things like that. And then, in the future, we hope to build out a more permanent home that, has I'll say a more professional look to it. And that's the goal. That's what we got to work towards and build towards. And in all honesty, we got to go out and earn it. Right. So, I think the vision is there. It's cool. It's something that, has at least been on the board or the discussion table for a while now. And whether it be Cody Gogler or Jeremiah Dickey, Christopher Coots, who is watching, he's somebody that has really come in with a whole lot of drive and organization, and he's really been a catalyst in pushing this thing to I want to say across the finish line, but there's in ways I don't even think we've reached the starting line. So I don't know what analogy fits there, but at least getting it to this point, he's been instrumental. So now the team is kind of get together, and I've come to learn that you continue to ask what's next. So you basically just continue to build off momentum, and hopefully that we put ourselves in a spot to continue to do that and have the luxury of just growing this thing to see what it's capable of.
I do think Chris and Cody missed out. I saw the spot last night on the Blue when you were on live, and I mean, they really should have done some sort of presentation of a polo shirt or a hat or something something with the BSU logo on it should have happened, because I told you a couple days
Yeah,
ago
you did.
talked about this, and I said, Friday we'll talk about it. I said I really need you wearing for the first time
I
ever
know.
in Boise State. I know they gave you the pin, or you had a pin on your.
I had a pin on last night. Yeah, Cody threw me a cool pin.
I was hoping
Actually, I think it was Brian Beals that did that. My bad. Yeah, but either way, I did get that on. Yeah, I it's going to be an adjustment to my wardrobe probably a little bit. I don't have much Boise State. Honestly, I don't really have any Boise State gear. I got blue and orange ties and stuff for the Bronco Roundup game day show, but I don't have much Boise State gear at this point. My wife is an alum, so she has some stuff. She dresses our kids in Boise State gear on game day, but I don't have a lot of Boise State gear or any really. I don't.
Your Nike allowance is going to be as an employee here, but I mean, most of your shirts have to be custom made, I assume. So it'll take a while to get you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Hope Jay is able to keep his Wazoo bias out of the videos he makes when we whoop him in the future.
Hey, I don't really think that they showed up in the past. I mean, Wazoo is the reason why I'm here today. It was where I got my education and all that stuff. So, yeah, they'll always have a place in my heart. But right now, I work for Boise State. I guess technically starting June 23rd, I work for Boise State. And so,
and actually, what the plan is in terms of when you actually start. So do you get a little free time here?
Yeah, so today is actually officially my last day at KTVB. I completed all my on-air stuff yesterday, but I'll go in and have to kind of clean up and turn my stuff in and say my final goodbyes. And
I could have put KTVB's Jay Tust for one more day.
Technically, yes. Technically, one more day. But then after that, we're gonna head out of town for a little bit, go see some family,
nice, and
try to recharge a little bit before I start work at Boise State on June 23rd. And I'm sure you're going to see me, still active on social media and things like that, but it'll be a little foreign to not have a nightly newscast for a while. But I'll also add that, during this time of the year, it's not the worst thing in the world to not have to worry about.
5 minutes today talking about it. So I appreciate it. Joe Southwick has submitted his resume as Jay's new replacement. I don't know if they're going back to the famous line.
I know. I'm trying to think of something that I can.
I have a photo here. I don't know if I don't know if I deserve royalties or I am honored. I'm not sure why you chose it, but in your little montage of all the videos of you over the years, there's a video that I took, a BNN shot of you in the BNN golf tournament, like laughing. And I don't know why you chose that or where that came from, but I saw that about 10 different times. Mm-hmm. Through, and I'm like, hey, that's at the BNN golf tournament there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't. We have some wonderful people over at KTVB that put some tributes together for me, which I'm super grateful of. Yeah, that one. I didn't necessarily pick that, but I was laughing because I thought the same thing. I was like, yeah, that was a golf tournament.
Yeah, and the cool story yesterday was having your family involved too. You had
the
kiddos got to be in the different shots on the blue and they're in the studio, and seeing Mark Johnson come back in there for all of that. And but Tyree, I mean, this is the big one, because he says, Jay, you covered our games at Bishop Kelly when I was in high school. We always got hyped when we saw you walk in. Thank you for your service to the Treasure Valley. I do think, I mean, when they had a thing, I don't think they have it here because you just don't have the bandwidth, but in St. Louis they had like Friday night flights, and like literally like a lot of the TV stations would have like their choppers for the traffic would go around and get different games on Fridays. And when you were at your game and you saw the Fox 2 chopper, the NBC 5 KSDK chopper circling around getting footage or landing in some cases, and the camera guy walking over for 5 minutes of footage, like you did get hyped. And so I guess when Jay Tust, walked in with the camera, folks like Tyree there got excited.
I've been here for so long. Our show actually used to be called Friday Night Flights because we would use a helicopter to fly around the Treasure Valley. And the best part about that is it just allowed us to hit so many areas. Like we could get down to the Magic Valley in Twin Falls, cover 2 games, and then hit a game in Mountain Home on the way back to Boise, a couple aerial flyovers of other games, and get back to the station in time to all air it. Like the chopper was a huge deal back then, but it was probably, honestly, I guess probably about the time you arrived, maybe just a skosh after that, where we no longer were able to do that. So we just hit the ground with our white Ford Explorers and did our best to still cover as much as we possibly could. I'll say this though, man, I guarantee that those first few Friday nights and throughout the Treasure Valley, my instincts will want to kick in and go cover those games, and I'll miss it. I know that I will. I just also know that it's necessary sometimes to make adjustments in life that are going to better serve your family, and I have to be less selfish in some regards, and this is one of those things that I just have to sacrifice. But I still think that high school sports is huge. I really do believe that it's the heartbeat of our community, and there are a number of you guys and I really appreciate you that still reach out to me and say things like, "You covered me when I was a kid, and now you're still watching us today," right? So that loyalty hopefully eventually pays off, and I think you'll see a number of examples where it has.
Now, as we talk about this and go through this, and you stand on for your appearances, there are certain things you cannot talk about now, i.e., recruits visiting, things like that. There's going to be certain things now a Boise State official or employee that you can't talk about. But Boise State esports, I think you're okay to comment on this one. Collins and Brooks are on the esports recruiting board, recruiting class of, is it really 2044 and 2046? Is that the years here?
Don't make me do that math right now.
It's 2004. I mean, that makes me feel super old. If you're
I don't know if those numbers aren't quite right.
Okay.
Not quite right, but close.
Yeah, I think
close.
Like 33 or something, or 30. So maybe it's a little
off.
Another big important question: are you still going to be rocking the flip flops?
That's another question for my boss, but I think when I have in the past, I think it might be okay in the future, but we'll kind of feel that situation out. I know that Chris did post yesterday on X that we'll see if Nike has any good flip flops. So maybe first NIL deal or endorsement over flip flops. I'm ready to strike that deal.
The concepts and ideas that will come from this move are endless. Cannot wait. We're going to get a lot more insight across all sports. Another W for Dickey and company. You are the Kellen Moore of KTVB Sports, so no pressure.
Oh, Andrew, that's way too kind.
Cuna High checking in. Always love seeing Friday Night Lights out at our games too. Made us feel special. Team were out there. Our whole team would chant Jay when he'd show up.
Chad.
You really are a celebrity, man, when you show up at some of these.
I don't know about that, but I do remember. It's really funny. I do remember back in the day, Chad played for Centennial High School, and that's a program that, like, right before I got here, I think they either went to or won a state title, and they have had very few successful seasons in between. But he helped them to one of their better ones since I've been here. That was a little while ago now, Chad, but yeah, like you guys are trying to push my buttons here because, like I said, that's something that I really hold near and dear. And BJ, we have lived through a really interesting time in media, man, and it has evolved. It's continuing to evolve. I mean, look at the both of us. We came here to write or broadcast for quote unquote traditional media, and now we still get to live here, but not necessarily doing the traditional media approach. And as things change, you really fight at times for things you believe in, and the high school sports scene in general was one of them for me. I didn't ever want to let go of it completely. And I will say this, KTVB backed me on that vision, and I think it's important, and it's not always rewarding on that nightly basis where you are driving out to hit a couple of games on a mid-February evening where it's cold out and foggy and it doesn't feel super rewarding at times. But then you get an email the next day from a grandpa that says, "Thanks for highlighting my kid." And you're like, "Hey, this is worth it to people." And I strongly believe that KTVB is still going to put together those efforts. I don't want to misspeak because it's no longer my responsibility to make sure that happens, but I've been really proud of that station over the time that I've been there to continue to back me with resources that allow us to continue to tell stories not only at the collegiate but prep level.
Well, kudos to Jeremiah. I texted Jeremiah and Cody and Chris and said, "Hey, man, like, heck of a move. Congrats," because It's a huge deal for Boise State, huge deal for you, huge deal for this community. And yeah, looking forward to seeing kind of where you guys take this, and just don't put us out of business here at BNN too quickly. Let us hang on a little bit longer, Jay. But you're going to be doing a lot of cool things with way more access and better equipment than we have over here. And so excited to see what you guys can do moving forward. But yeah, best part when you told me you took a job and you were leaving, the first thought is, okay, was he going to Phoenix? Is he going to Seattle? Where's he going? And when you said you were staying in town, that was the best news of all. So
I really thought that was going to be. I got family in both of those, or in or near both of those cities, and for a long time that was the goal. But things change, and I really love this place, man. I really love Boise. It's funny because it's not necessarily the best kept secret anymore with how much it's exploded, but there are still people that don't truly understand how awesome this place is. And it's going to allow me and my family to stay in a place that I feel safe, I love, and I appreciate that. So, you never say never about those visions of things, but I love where I'm at right now.
Well, again, congrats to you, congrats to everybody involved, congrats to the wife and kiddos that are going to get to you in the evenings. You may get to. I think this means one thing, that you now need to be. Follow my path and get into the coaching realm here. You now have evenings free for practice, for games. I think you need to, maybe you can be the head coach and I'll come be your assistant coach, or vice versa. Maybe we can get you
vice versa. Absolutely.
I'm asking if you get a free gym membership out of this. Do you get to use the Varsity Center gym, right?
Let's walk before I run. I don't want to push Leon Rice or Mike Burns off the bench press. I don't think that would be a good look.
By the way, Chad says, Jay, we won 3 games my senior year. We were ass.
Chad, how many times has Centennial won 3 games? Just saying, it's probably been a few years. So
because they were a wagon back in like 2014 to 2016.
They had a couple of decent years somewhere along the way, but I don't know. I'm not trying to rag on Centennial football, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, again, congrats to everybody. Looking forward to it. Enjoy your time off for the week, Jay. But in our remaining 6 minutes here, I do want to hit on today's question.
Let's do it.
But I do want to thank a couple sponsors that make this show possible and make us have folks like Jay still be able to come on here. And that starts with our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and rowpaint.com. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. If you're looking for concrete coatings, we've had it done on our home, interior, exterior painting, all your painting needs. Reach out to me. I'll directly connect you with Andy and the team over there, and we'll get you set up for a free estimate. But highly recommend and appreciate our friends over at rowpaint.com. Hey, Taco Bell is hiring. Local Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations, the SN Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate them for their support of BNN. And if you're looking for a job, they're hiring. You can go get more information at tacobellworks.com or just walk into the store there. They got the paperwork in the front of the stores. The food is great. And I highly recommend it. You get free food while you work, half your wages the next day after your shift. Great promotional opportunities. Maybe you've never thought about a career at Taco Bell, but you should. And as I said, this will be a weekend full of baseball games at Settlers Park. So we'll be having the cheesy roll-ups and the slushies throughout the days, probably from Taco Bell here in the Raines family. So check them out, TacoBellWorks.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. I've been teasing that they signed a NIL deal with a new Boise State athlete. I don't know when that's going to be announced, but a new Boise State basketball player has signed up with Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Check them out, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. And we appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News and BroncoNationNews.com. Hey, if you're going to Roaring Springs, make sure you go to Jackson's first. Save your $8 per ticket at Jackson's. You can use it 4 times. You get to save up to $8 a ticket. You can use it 4 times. The savings is $32 from our friends at Jackson's. And that's you buy 2 Coca-Cola products and you get the savings there at Jackson's. So congratulations to all the folks involved in that deal. Jackson's Extra Mile. Cool that they're teaming up with Coke and with Roaring Springs. So make sure you take advantage of that from our friends at Jackson's. And the spa team, Snake River Pool and Spa, patio and game locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. You can check them out at thespateam.com and see all the different options and things that they have there. So whether it's a sauna, hot tub, pool table for the game room. They got you covered there at thespateam.com. And the Blue and Orange Store, they're going to be the in-venue provider. Appreciate Travis Hawks and company, in-game venue provider. I don't know the exact terminology, but they're in the Hall of Fame. They're in at the stadium at Extra Mile Arena. You'll be able to buy your official gear from the Blue and Orange Store, and you can just go to the Boise Town Square Mall there next to Pro Image. Check that out as well, second floor of the mall. But blueandorangestore.com is where you can order anywhere in the world, and that's from our friends at the Blue and Orange Store and the blueandorangestore.com. And Lithia Ford of Boise, make sure you buy a used vehicle from Lithia Ford of Boise at lithiafordboise.com. lithiafordboise.com has great used vehicles, and they have a new deal. Speaking of NIL deals with Julian Bowie from the basketball team. Congratulations to him, the Idaho Falls location, and Lithia Ford of Boise right there in right there in Boise. And so, Jay, appreciate Jim Sturk. He's been a big provider and sponsor and supporter of Bronco Nation News. We purchased our used vehicle from them. But this connection, I am proud to, I guess proud, I don't know if proud is the right word, but happy to say that this connection happened at the BNN golf tournament, Jay, where Julian Bowie was out there on another NIL deal with Signature Roofing and was hitting tee shots for folks. And Jim Sturk came up to the tee box there. I actually happened to be there watching this, and they started talking. And next thing you know, Julian Bowie now has a 2024 Ford Explorer that he'll be rocking for the next year on an NIL deal, thanks to Idaho Falls location and Lithia Ford of Boise there, and Jim Sturk. So shout out Jim Sturk and company, and pretty cool deal there. Jay, what's the I mean, all the other coaches and folks are getting vehicles. Do you get a big vehicle there as part of the or is Jim Sturk hooking you up? I mean,
I wish I was that cool, BJ. I don't think I'm quite that cool. So something to aim for.
By the way, Jay, speaking of videos being posted to and photos being posted to social media, there was a video today posted here of Maddox Madsen, Sire Gaines, and Sire Gaines looking pretty healthy, looking pretty good, making his way to the end zone here. They had an inferno practice today, I guess, or at least a summer walkthrough, and I know there's some different rules in terms of the summer and the coaches not being out there. This is my understanding is one of those, summer PRP practices, a walkthrough. I don't know if coaches were at this or not, but the video team, and I'm sure Jay Tust, you're going to get to start going to some of these closed practices and things, but nice to see Sire Gaines looking fit and looking healthy out there in the summer workout.
Well, first off, I think that I don't know how much of any practice is closed anymore in the Spencer Danielson era. We all get to witness a lot, but man, yeah, Sire does look good, and I think that he'll start to answer some questions here in the very near future. Might be answering one right now on this video. He looks sharp, he looks good, and I think he is going to just play a massive role for this football team coming up this season.
Another guy, Latrell Caples, was out for part of the spring. Going to be a big season for him. This video was posted also of Latrell Caples making a nice grab here.
Another guy that's going to be really key to Boise State's success on offense. Latrell needs to go out and have his best year yet. I think that's something that anybody can agree on.
By the way, folks are commenting that in that video, which we just showed of Sire Gaines, a couple things stand out about it. But first of all, someone says the fact that he is 18 is absurd. My goodness, he looks like a beast. But folks are noticing that he was doing the Ashton Genty stance there. Mm-hmm. The stance is here. I know some other guys have done it, but maybe the stance will remain even though number 2 is gone.
I mean, Chip Kelly's not his offensive coordinator, I guess.
All right, Jay, the offense. And now I guess you're not technically on the Boise State payroll for a week. So this is your last chance or two to be.
Yeah, light them up.
This is your last chance to call for people's jobs and really dive into this. But last year, we talked defense yesterday. We're talking offense today. Yesterday, we said the defense needs to improve the tackling, needs to improve allowing some of the explosive plays, and also just creating more turnovers. Offensively, we got Nathan Carroll's article at BroncoNationNews.com. You can go read it right now. But what comes to mind for you generally when you think where the offense can be better in 2025?
I think explosive downfield passing attack, it seems like that could be an area of improvement. That being said, I still don't think it's going to be the strong suit of this team. So I think the one area that I'll go to, and it's just because, we talk about Ashton Genty as a running back and his yards they have to replace. But Ashton was so good after contact. And so whether it be after the catch or after contact, this new group of Broncos has to collectively help pick up that slack where, a 5-yard check down or whatever it might be isn't just a 5-yard gain. Go try to find ways to make plays after the catch or after contact, whatever it might be, because that was a huge part of Boise State's offense last year. So I think kind of spreading that wealth and making sure you're being active and explosive after contact is an emphasis for the 2025 Boise State football offense.
Yeah, and some of the numbers that Nathan points out, Boise State completed an explosive pass on just 8.6% of all dropbacks, and that was 93rd in the nation in explosive passing game last season. And obviously, Ashton Genty did his thing, and you don't need Kellen Moore era slinging for 300 yards a game, but 8.6% in terms of explosive pass rate, not necessarily good enough. Maddox Madsen, he threw a 20-plus yard pass down the field on just 12.8 of his attempts. So they didn't even try to throw the ball down the field. A 20-plus yard passing attempt on just 12, and that's not on 12% of plays. That's on 12.8% of his dropbacks. He attempted a pass of more than 20 yards, which was 95th against of FBS quarterbacks. So a lot of crossing routes, play action, smaller dump offs, things like that. He mentioned Cam Camper was the most effective deep threat by a significant margin, 7 deep catches for 241 yards, 2 touchdowns. And he also had 3 drops on deep balls, but he says obviously he's gone. So Latrell Caples, Matt Lauder, they did show to be capable. Both finished with 4 deep catches, combining for 243 yards and 4 touchdowns. Says they're not going to be a John Hightower burner, but obviously capable of stretching the defense a little bit. Caples went 3 for 4 on contested catch opportunities on deep balls, by the way, as well. But you lose Prince Strawn, you lose Austin Bolt. Where do you see in terms of that, making up that deep passing game, and the fact that I said Maddox Madsen didn't even attempt a lot of them. What's your take on that, and with the new offensive coordinator, how that might change?
Yeah, so who's the guy that can just go get it, Khalil Shakir, who wasn't even that big in terms of, it's not like he was Prince Strawn in terms of his height or anything running around out there, but that guy always won every 50-50 ball. And when we joke around in the press box, it was like you throw it at Shaquille and every 50-50 ball turns into a 90-10 ball. He was just unbelievable at going and getting it. So, we talk about yards after contact, but also just going up and making plays, going up and helping Maddox Madsen on some of these things, for that matter, is going to be big for this Boise State offense. I think pass protection, run blocking, the ground game in general, I think it's going to be very good. I just think that when you look at it and where this offense can grow, I think that those are the answers they need to find.
He says the good news is the data suggests it's not a quarterback issue. Maddox Madsen finished last season with an adjusted completion percentage of 43.1% on throws of 20-plus yards down the field. It accounts for drops and some other things to better gauge the quarterback's true performance. And while 43.1% doesn't seem fantastic, Nathan says it actually ranks in the top half of FBS quarterbacks last season in terms of the adjusted completion percentage on 20-plus yard throws down the field. And he said when going deep, he threw for 11.5 yards per attempt with 6 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, earning him an excellent 78.5 Pro Football Focus grade on deep passes. So he suggests the deep passes were actually not the lack of deep passes, and then when they even tried them and didn't complete them, that wasn't really on Madsen, which might surprise some fans.
Yeah, we'll have to dive in and find the exact percentage, but it's not like quarterbacks complete 65% of their throws over 25 yards or over 20 yards. So your completion percentage dips significantly the farther you throw it down the field. That just makes sense. So the fact it was over 40 and well over 40 is, I think that shows that that not only is there room for growth, but there's potential they can hit that.
How much do you feel like, Jay, we heard after the spring game, Spencer say, we want to get 50-50, but we're still going to run the football. But I mean, what do you we just showed the video of Sire Gaines, and we talk about Dylan Riley and Breezy Dubar and Malik Sherrod. I mean, there's obviously the stable's pretty full right now at running back, which is crazy to say, even after losing Genty. But how do you see the dispersion of run versus pass, and how you see new offensive coordinator coming in and the offense. Because one thing, I mean, I know it's a Boise State thing, but I would like to see a few more trick plays here and there. And I'm not saying every game, you need to go crazy with the triple reverse passes, whatever. But Dirk was kind of just let's line up and run power or zone, mid zone, whatever, and just run the ball and beat you. And we don't have to do any of that. And so I don't, one a game maybe, or just something here and there. That's one area I would like to see, is get back to a little bit. We did see the very first play of spring practice, or I guess on the first drive of the first practice at spring, they ran a double pass. And I know that was maybe more just symbolic of anything else, but that's one thing I would like to see. Yeah, the deep downfield passes, attack the field vertically a little more, but I'd like to see a little more creativity in terms of what they're doing, and not even necessarily just trick plays, but just a little more open playbook than just the same kind of 3 or 4 running plays all the time. And we have a new offensive coordinator, so we have a chance to see that for Boise State this year. And Nate Potter, just your thoughts on how he's going to call this thing, and if they're still going to be a super run heavy team or what.
I personally think they're going to be still a run heavy team. That's just me. When you look at last year's success and how explosive Boise State was on the ground, they didn't necessarily have to generate explosive plays through the air. And so now we're going to have to find that balance of this team and these players going into 2025. I personally think they're going to still be productive enough on the ground, though, that you're still going to see them predominantly a run team. And I also think that just feeds into the identity of what they want to do here at Boise State.
Well, obviously, new crop of wide receivers, or at least some younger guys have to step up, and that'll play a part of this too. Or how much are those guys ready to have put on their plate in terms of taking bigger roles and things. And I'm super excited to see some of these guys we've all talked about, Cameron Bates and some of those guys, but even BSU Bill says Quentin Brown, a freshman coming in, downfield burner, or the slot, given his speed. So we'll see. It's going to be very intriguing what happens on offense, and we'll keep this series going. We'll keep getting Jay on for now, and looking forward to getting updates, Jay, as we go on kind of how this thing is evolving and the job and everything. And enjoy the, we get paid to watch sports for a living, so I know people don't really care when we complain about stuff. Like I understand that, but especially earlier in my career at the paper, Jay, I've learned to have a little more life balance, that I don't care quite as much. But like literally, you'd be at Cheesecake Factory on a dinner with your wife, and they'd get a 3-star running back, and you'd have to stop and tweet it out, and then like go outside the restaurant to talk to the player or to get it confirmed, and then like hurry home and write the story. And like it's changed a little bit, because I've kind of said, like, not that I don't care about it, but I've tried to say, okay, can that, will that news be there in 20 minutes? Yes, it will. And so I've tried to do that. But even like something as simple as your family go to see some family for a few days, like you're not necessarily going to have to every 5 minutes be checking Twitter to see what's going on with the Pac-12 news or what's going on with this or that. And so I'm trying to do better at that, with kids' baseball games and stuff. I'm like, hey, I'll get to it when I get to it. Whatever. I'm with family time. But obviously our job is not usually, like you said, an 8 to 5 type job. You got to be on call when anything happens at any time. And I know that with kids and whatever else can be tough. And I know that's one thing for you with this that I'm a little jealous of, that you're going to be paying attention and you'll be working outside the hours. I'm not trying to say that, but just maybe some of the small minutia recruiting news and stuff like that can wait for a month till Monday morning for you. I'm excited for you for that.
Yeah, I think we'll just figure it out and see what that balance and that plan looks like. But I also say this, like I've largely been asked to still continue to be myself. And that's a big reason why the job was attractive to me. And if Boise State gives up 300 yards rushing, I'm allowed to point out they gave up 300 yards rushing. There will be some authenticity and still continuing to be genuine to storylines and things like that. So yeah, it might change a little, but hopefully it'll still serve the public and still come across as respected and with journalistic integrity, in all honesty.
Yeah. Well, enjoy the little bit of time away and recharge for the new job here, Jay. We're happy for you and Boise State. Cool news. And by the way, someone's asking about the John Gruden Breezy Dubar thing. Do you have any idea how?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Try to get to the bottom of it, but I don't.
Well, if your boss is still watching, maybe Chris can shoot the next 20 seconds. But that was kind of weird, and I thought it was hilarious. I watched it like 5 times when he was talking about the birds, and he goes, "I ain't seen no birds, but I seen bird poop." And I know it wasn't.
Yeah.
But that was one of those random things where it's like, what is Breezy Dubar doing?
I agree. It took me by surprise.
Where is John Gruden live, or where's his?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I thought he lived in Tampa, so I don't know what Breezy Dubar. I don't know what the connection there was, but yeah, and yes, BSU. I do need to worry about the preemptive Tommy John epidemic going on in 8U baseball world. I don't care. Like, I will continue to push that thing, man. What is going on in youth baseball is absolutely ridiculous with pitch counts. I saw a kid. It was even worse than I was tweeting about last week. I mean, an 8-year-old kid threw 78 pitches, and the very next day started and threw another like 60. We're talking in 2 days, 100. Like, MLB pitchers, the best, most strongest, well-conditioned arms in the world. If you throw over like 30 pitches, you have to take a day off the next day. Like, it is just unbelievable. And so our team don't do that. I can tell you that. I can't tell you how many times we've had pitchers rolling where you'd love to keep them going, but you're at 35 pitches and the whatever. I mean, even the limit of 40 for the next day is crazy to me. We'll do a whole show on that sometime, Jay. Maybe we'll get one of your new teammates, one of the doctors over there, to come on and talk about that. But
perfect.
Yeah, I that is one thing that I know some people are like, oh, why do you care so much? Whatever. Like, it is now being a part of it and seeing it and like tracking all that stuff for our teams and stuff. It is absolutely crazy what people are doing to win a little plastic ring or a plaque or whatever for a kid's baseball tournament. And it is something's got to be done, because I know it's been going on for a while, but it is just getting more out of hand by the day. And so we don't let our kids go 3 days in a row, period, in the tournament. And we try not to do that. And then if you throw your, 40, I think it's 40, you can pitch the next day, but we try to have a day off if you're going 40 plus. I mean, but we're not going all three. And you get these kids that go 40 first day, 40 second day. Oh, now the third day you're allowed 75. So let's pitch them 75. And it's just like 120 something pitches in 3 days is just absolutely crazy. I mean, what was the most, were you a pitcher back in the day, or the most pitches you ever threw in a game? Or?
I did, but I was more like a relief guy. Nothing crazy like that. So I don't know the answer to that. The other one too.
BSU Bill says, I remember not being allowed to throw a curveball until I was 12. Yeah. Half of Naismith's team at 10-year-olds already trying to throw breaking balls and everything else, but not my kid. You can throw your change and your I've showed him million Trevor Hoffman videos. Your fastball can be 85 if your changeup's 76 or whatever. I mean, if you can still just change speeds, you don't need to have curveballs and sliders and all this crazy stuff at this age. But I can't wait till you get to start experiencing that yourself here, Jay. And then, do you seem like the guy that would kind of maybe push his guys a little, like next, you got one more inning in you, come on, like that's, I don't know that. Anybody, what do you think? Is Jay? You kind of seem like the guy that, hey, you're only
if it's best for their character.
Yes, toughen it up. You can ice your arm afterwards. Yeah. No, Jay, appreciate it. Congrats to you, the family. Enjoy it. Good luck cleaning out the office today, and that was cool seeing all the tributes and things yesterday. And we need to get that first. I heard you had the first Go Broncos yesterday. I didn't see it. Andy Rowe sent me sent me something. I don't know if he reached out to you. But we need to see in that first BSU, polo and hat at some point as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd never done that before, so a little different, but dipping my toe in the water.
Congrats, Jay. Congrats to everybody there, and looking forward to what's next, as they say over there at Boise State. So hope everybody has a great weekend, and you can check us out at BroncoNationNews.com. Read Nathan Carroll's news. Who knows, Jay? Maybe we can get some more news out there in a couple of weeks. What do you know? We can't let Jay Tust be the only one with stuff going on these days. Who knows what's going on? So stay tuned to BNN. We got fun stuff going on, and we're always looking to add and do different things. And so we'll just leave another what's next tease out there, I guess.
Love it.
Ponder this weekend. But have a great weekend. I'll see you at Settlers Park. I know we got games all weekend out there. And Monday morning, Mike Prater will join us, and we'll talk BSU sports on Monday. Have a great rest of your day. This has been Bronco Nation News, an ICCU Friday presented by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. And a couple of smaller sponsors. Smaller is not the right word. Didn't get to all of our sponsors today. Long show. Apologize. So go support the sponsors. And if you're one of the 3 or 4 I couldn't mention, I love you. I'll get to you. Matt Bauscher, all of our great sponsors. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.